What is something you wished you knew before having sex? Lube. Use some lube. My ex and I tried having sex a few times, but due to pain on her end it didn't really work out and our relationship suffered as a result. How to not be painfully shy. It's extremely overrated. All you hear about is sex, sex, sex. In advertising, marketing, in TV shows, in movies. Sex with my partner who I love deeply and have an amazing emotional bond with is pretty nice. But sometimes 10 minutes of sweaty, flesh bumping is not what I want or need at the end of the day. What I appreciate more than that is having somebody to talk to, laugh with, and share life's ups and downs with. Sex is a small portion of what there is to enjoy with someone else. It's not that special. I blame TV and movies for making it seem all magical and electrical and shit and giving me this fairy tale view of it before I did it. That dicks completely have a mind of their own. Aroused does not always equal hard and ready to go. Hey dude, you have some sexual trauma from grade 9 you need to deal with. See a therapist now rather than figuring this shit out after everyone hates you. If it smells like cologne, leave it alone. Babies don't come out the butt. You don't get your dick back after you put it in. How to make a woman orgasm. Hell, I'm a guy and I didn't nut the first time. Username checks out. As the great Josh Wolf once said, that the hole was so far back that you can be allergic to cum. After you come in a condom, you need to hold the condom as you pull out, or else it'll stay in her, and possibly spill. Is she just having sex with me out of pity, or does she actually want it as much as I do? Foreplay is super important. If anything, spend some time kissing her stomach and touching legs. Licking the nipples is another plus. I didn't have sex until I was 19. When I finally did, I couldn't finish, and I remember telling her that I wouldn't be able to ejaculate unless I was with someone I loved. Yep, I was a dumbass. Should have bought a dozen condoms and figured out how to put it on. I went through like 4 before I got the damned thing on. That you don't have to have sex with a fella just cause they said you were sexy. It's going to be really awkward for the first dozen times or so until you get used to it. Once you're more comfortable, then you can start having fun. My girlfriend needed to trim her fingernails. She was way too eager and there was some unpleasant scrapping. Seriously kids, trim your nails before fingering someone. Lick it. ... before you stick it. I'm 38. It took me until a few years ago to realize that sex is almost never just sex. It's gonna involve feelings, power dynamics, expectations of reciprocity, or some combination of those. Even when all signs point to just sex, it's not. That putting down a towel is a great plan, and that having a couple of clean rags around are great for cleaning up afterwards, before a shower. As a woman, vaginal penetration shouldn't hurt. It'll be uncomfortable, yeah, but it should not hurt, and it shouldn't make you bleed. If either of those things occur, it means A, you weren't aroused enough, and either you or the other person rushed things. B, there wasn't enough lubricant involved, which directly connects to A, or C, all of the above. That I didn't need to do it so my boyfriend wouldn't break up with me. He definitely was not worth it. That you should be turned on, really physically aroused, before doing it. Seems stupid, but I guess I didn't know. I just wanted to get it over with. What in Tarnation is that thing below the penis? It looks like something that was supposed to belong inside the body, but it's just there. I don't know, it freaked me out and still does a bit when I stare at them. Like I don't know, balls just don't look right and they're so tender, like why are they even there? It's like having your kindy just dangling from your armpit. I don't know. Okay, that's it, I'm done with the internet for today. Girls have a separate wee hole. That partner-on-partner rape is a thing and probably a red flag. Air escaping makes noises. Don't laugh. Stanky pussy is not normal. My first hookup smelled like a combination of fish market, shit, and vomit. Didn't find out till my first real girlfriend that was not in fact normal. Red flags abounded. 2. Girl had meth mouth. That the girl would murder her mother 4 years later. The average size of a penis. Would have eliminated a lot of anxiety. How to have sex. How much Microsoft shares were going to climb so I could have purchased some afterwards. This is going to be uninteresting and fairly boring until you figure out you're the wrong anatomy. The squishy, suction noise is also a good name for a punk rock band. Being able to have sex in an actual bed is way better than sneaking around in cars, outdoors. STI status. STI status. Has rod knock and needs a new head gasket. It's much better with someone you really love. That is would ruin a friendship that lasted from pre-K up till sophomore year. You cannot plan out in advance your sexual encounters. My first time was not planned. It was more of a shoot your shot. That saving one's virginity isn't as romantic as it sounds. Her name. Your first time isn't a groundbreaking, earth-shattering experience. It will probably be over before you process what's happening. It's 100% better when you're actually ready, and not just being pressured. Where the clit is. Inside the belly button, right? That I had a latex allergy. That big dicks are overrated and painful. How far back the whole of the vagina really is. First time doing the dirty, I was poking my dick around the top of the vagina. In my head I blue screened for a couple seconds. Go slow. Porn is a lot of like a sewing machine kinda shit. You gotta start slow, then build up. Like that Tenacious D song. That recovery time was a factor. He was nice about it, but I still felt embarrassed when he had to explain why he needed a few minutes. A penis is not a heat-seeking missile, and men usually need their hands to put it in. Wash your ass. Leave the shorts at knee level to avoid rug burn. That it's not that big of a deal. I spent the first 20 years of my life completely obsessed with it. It's great. But I should have given my arm a break. I remember the first time I told one of my buddies I lost my virginity. I thought he was gonna be super excited for me and congratulate me. If not for losing my virginity, then for who I lost it to. We both went to school with her and she was very attractive, popular. Instead he said, "Not that cool, huh?" And suddenly I realized that this thing I had constantly thought about since I was 12 is just kind of fun but not really life-altering like I thought it'd be. My group of friends gave me so much shit for being a virgin I figured I was missing out on something spectacular, but it was just sex. Hard to explain to somebody who's never had sex, but I feel like most people can relate. Edit. Thanks for the silver. I'm glad I can put so many of your guys' mind at ease. If you're really worried about it, just take that step and put yourself out there, but I wouldn't sweat it. Sex causes a lot more bullshit than it's worth. If you just spent like 17 years beating your meat every day, it'll be incredibly hard to come, especially if you're not in comfortable positions and if you're going to have regular sex. Stop jerking off. Smell test. Always smell test. Christ in a cross. Man, I pictured some dude casually taking a two-fingered stroke, then sniffing his fingertips intently, like a fine wine connoisseur, maybe even a bit of lick and spit like the winos do. It's more like you find a super quick moment to smell your fingers without her noticing. I usually do it when kissing the neck and then bringing my hand up behind her neck to bring the fingers down the back. Boom, quick whiff and you know if you're good or not. Lol, this got sort of graphic, but it saved me some nasty head a couple times. That you need a level of situational awareness when your girlfriend is busy taking your virginity in her mom's bed. That as a lady you probably won't finish from penetration alone, and that's okay. You don't have to fake it, and lying to your partner about finishing just encourages them to keep being uninformed about what future female partners may need. If she says, "You don't need a condom," you definitely need one. The smell, like pheromones, should be a thing they tell you about. Like avoiding people that smell bad to you because you're probably not gonna get along even if they're funny, kind or good looking. You don't have to be randomly making the moaning sounds. You make them when you actually do feel pleasure. After seeing porn, I sorta faked it my first few times until I learned to just let it go and focus on myself rather than assuring partner that it's all so great. I shouldn't push myself to offer sex to folks when I dislike having sex. I'm asexual, no desire for sex whatsoever, and the act is annoying and awkwardly uncomfortable at best, actively disgusting at worst. It's like being a gay woman with only men around to date. Zero interest or excitement, but I still want a close romantic relationship, so I ended up letting them know I was ace, and pushing myself to put out anyway, under the impression they'd not care about romance if sex was off the table. Not fun to have that you're only valuable for your ability to hanging over every relationship. Anyway, I finally found a fellow ace and fell stupidly in love, and we're moving in together soon. We've been dating 8 months. Zero sex. And I'm happier than ever. Conclusion. Find someone who shares your sexual preferences. Whether that's feral shower sex every other day, or sweet lovemaking once a week, or just snuggling with little kisses and words of adoration. A lot messier than you'd think. Bring a towel. Age of consent. R. Hold up. P. After. It does not equal love. That you need another person involved before you can consider it sex. That I'd left the car in neutral. That what I had to work with was perfectly adequate for the job. Maybe there is a legitimate reason to keep porn from kids. Dick size doesn't matter. Be confident with what you've got. If you are unfortunate enough to have a small pecker, you aren't necessarily down for the count. You just gotta step up your finger game, and get the fastest hands in the West. Demand a condom. People lie all the time. Don't risk your life and your future on somebody's word. What's the actual definition of stepsister? Don't fake orgasms. Hard to go back when you don't value your cum as just as important as his. That virginity is the stupidest idea ever, and no, you don't magically change once a penis has entered your vagina. That my pee-pee gets sick when it's happy too much. Bathe yourself thoroughly right before getting it on.